Hey there, table shakers. It is Will Horn, and I'm so excited to be with you guys. Here we are again, 7:30 here in the Central Standard Time, and we are continuing with our promo series, getting ready for the launch of the Shake the Table podcast, which is just 4 days away. So Thursday, this coming Thursday at 7:30 p.m. We're going to be right here on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and YouTube Live. So we want to make sure, first of all, that you're in place, but second, that you can let everybody you know, some of those table shakers who haven't connected yet, to let them know that we're on. So, just like we did last night, I have another phenomenal guest that I want to introduce to you. This woman, I'm gonna say this. I don't follow a whole lot of people on social media because they're not saying a whole lot of stuff. But every single time I click on her page or a post comes across my timeline, she is saying something that's got me like pulling my, well, I don't have any hair, but just screaming because she is so smart. She is so spiritual. She's so real. You understand what I'm saying? And I love being able to connect with people that have something to say. And so last night, you all got an opportunity to meet Mark Coley, an amazing spiritual business coach. Tonight, I want to introduce you to a lady named Dr. Vanessa R. Brown. So before I bring her on, I want to read her bio. I want to tell you a little bit about her. Is that all right? Dr. Vanessa R. Brown is an author dedicated to mental health educational, and she's a dedicated mental health educational consultant. She's an ordained pastor. She's a religious trauma expert, and she is the founder of WellCare 360, which is a corporate wellness program for mental health professionals, clergy, entrepreneurs, educational leaders, and healthcare professionals. She's passionate about integrating faith and wellness to empower individuals and families. Married to Michael Brooks, she's the proud mother of two and grandmother of two and a fur baby mama. She cherishes the values of love and resilience and connection with her family. She holds a master's degree in pastoral counseling, and she just recently earned a doctor of education in mental health and human services, specializing in behavioral health management from Houston Christian University. She's also an author. She wrote a book that is called The Secret Is Out When Faith Fails, the Role of the Black Church. And we're going to dig into that a little bit on tonight. The way that I came to know Dr. Vanessa, I came to know her through her connection to my spiritual father, Bishop Carlton Pearson. So, again, you understand why I need you to hear her voice. She is a phenomenal, powerful woman of God, and she really shakes tables and kind of raises hell in her own right. And we are so happy to have her here on tonight. So, if you would welcome Dr. Vanessa R. Brooks.
Hello. How you doing, Will?
I'm doing well, my sister. I am so excited to have you here. I feel like a little kid right now.
Oh, I was like, who is he introducing? Is that me?
That's you. That's you. That was you. So we are here. We are here. And this is just a little quick chat today, maybe 15, 20 minutes. But I need the table shakers to know who you are. And so, just in a few words, because I got some questions for you, but just in a few words, tell us who Dr. Vanessa R. Brooks is.
She is definitely a table shaker for sure. She's been that way since birth. My mother told me when I was 2 years old that I was the most inquisitive child she'd ever seen in her life. I've been asking questions since I was a baby. So I think the one word that would probably surmise who I am is just I am a curious seeker of knowledge, but I want to
Mhm.
do it my way. my rules. So rebellious is another word that probably would be befitting for who I am, but in a
Wow.
good way.
Okay. Well, sometimes we have to rebel,
Yes.
against those systems, that don't work
Mhm.
well for us.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm very rebellious because I don't know that you can I don't know that we're gonna make this lifetime reality a better place if everybody just is status quo. And so
Hmm.
for me, and I don't want to go because I'm coming back later. I talk a lot too, Will, so you got to stop me. But I found out through a series of events that the way to truth is through questioning. And
Hmm.
so I'm just an inquisitive, curious person who has a lot of questions. Even if it doesn't yield to getting an answer, I got questions, child.
Well,
And
let me
Will,
tell you,
I know you didn't mean any harm. My last name was Brooks, not Brown. I just want to clarify that because you said
did I
Brown a
say
couple times,
Brown?
twice. It's
Forgive
Brooks.
me.
That's okay.
Look,
That's okay.
let me tell you what it is. And I think you probably identify with this. I'm 54.
I'm 55, so that's why I said it's no hard feelings, none.
The stuff just slips. And it's crazy. I was sitting here reading Brooks, and I don't know why Brown came out of my
That's
mouth. But
okay.
anyway,
That's okay. That's okay.
forgive me for that, honey.
That's
Forgive me.
okay. You good.
But I want to know this because
Hmm.
again, I know who you are,
Yes.
and and I know parts of your story and all of that kind of thing. But I'm so fascinated by your transition, your transcendence of
Yes.
of where not who you used to be, but of where you used to be. And I get so excited when I have an opportunity to speak to really powerful women like you, and I'm very intentional on my platform about affirming my sisters. And
Hmm.
so, some people don't know this. Maybe even some of your followers don't know this. But you were a preaching fool. I mean, a pastor who preach.
Preach.
I mean, preach. I've watched some of your videos and I'm like, oh my God.
I know. You mentioned Carlton Pearson, and I was a guest on his show a couple years ago, and we spoke on the phone after the interview, and he was just like, I cannot. It's like he said, I can believe it, but I can't believe it because how do you go from that Pentecostal
Mm-hmm.
tongue talking deliverance apostle
Mm-hmm.
to having this new awareness? And Will, I guess you can attest to this because I wish it's been 7 years that I've been officially deconstructing.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably been deconstructing all my life, but 7 years officially. And I still don't have like the aha story. I've been on so many interviews and everybody wants to know what happened. How did it happen? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Other than my mama raised me in church and we used to go to Sunday school. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
about nobody else. Um, And so my mama taught me by example, to read the Bible. And I was a Sunday school teacher by the age of 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I was teaching adults, seriously. And so I think I've just always saw things in the Bible, but this is the power of indoctrination. So I was indoctrinated into what we call Pentecostalism.
Mm-hmm.
It was modeled before me. My mother raised me Baptist, but later on I got grown and went to the Pentecostal church. So there is this dichotomy of this person who's always been theologically sound, I think, but indoctrination is a because I'm not gonna cuss on your show, I cuss on mine though, because indoctrination coupled with my theological soundness resulted in Apostle Vanessa R. Brooks being this sort of, and I never fit into church. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Like I made myself be there, but I never really fit in because I had this very sound theology. And I told Bishop Carlton Pearson, nobody knew me, but I was preaching about hell before Carlton Pearson was.
Mm-hmm.
I knew the truth about hell before Carlton Pearson ever said a word. They've been calling me a heretic for 30 years. So I had this sound doctrine, but at the same time, Pentecostalism was modeled before me.
Mm-hmm.
And so at some point, those of you who've practiced Pentecostalism, especially the way that I did, Pentecostalism will wear your, I gotta stop cussing. Okay, God help me. Pentecostalism will wear you out. Like it will exhaust you mentally, physically, emotionally,
Uh-huh.
spiritually. And it was the exhaustion of Pentecostalism that I would say probably is the causation of my transition.
Mm-hmm.
It was the
Mm-hmm.
trauma of Pentecostalism, I can now say, that is the causation of me transitioning out and almost returning back to that sound theology that I practiced as an 8-year-old.
Wow. See, this is the thing that gets me so excited right now, is because people like you, people like me, people like a lot of the folks that follow both of us come from those traditions where we were so indoctrinated, so coerced even to live a certain way and think a certain way and speak a certain way and even try to be a certain way that was not true for who we were. We were not living in authenticity. We were stressed out and doing all kinds of things to try to cope,
Mm-hmm.
all in the name of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
what I have found out, what a lot of people have found out, is that you can only do that for so long.
For so long.
And
And
at
that's
some
and that's that's the nature of what religious trauma is. It's exactly what you said. It is because as children, our authentic self is repressed almost at birth.
Mhm,
And so we learn through our parents, through our family structures, through societal structures, we learn to become a false self,
mhm,
right? Well, when you're introduced to religion, y'all, I'm not trying to offend anybody's beliefs, okay? Just this is just my journey. And this is based on a lot of research, especially those fundamental conservative religious structures. That adds to the sense of the false self because in religion, there's there's this black and white thinking. You either have to be
mhm.
holy, which you know a little bit about it, that word, huh? Holy. So you either have to be holy or you're either holy or you're a sinner. So you're not permitted to be anything in between, which goes against what it is to be a human. I'm
Mhm,
a human development specialist, right? So religion suppresses the normal process of the developmental stages that we're supposed to go through as humans. So you're
mhm,
either good or bad, you're right or wrong, you're holy or a sinner, you're going to heaven or hell. Uh-oh, there's the devil or there's God. And so you have to fit into these compartments neatly or else.
mhm,
So
mhm,
most of us have to figure out how we're going to fit into these compartments because we want to be accepted, we want to be approved. We do, y'all, we do. We don't realize the harm we're causing though. So you're right. Over time, that false sense of self that we have developed and cultivated so beautifully, because of how we are divinely created by the creator, eventually it's going to crumble for most people. And that crumbling looks different. For some people, it looks like you and me when we deconstruct. For other people, the crumbling looks like mental health issues. It
mhm,
looks like maladaptive religious coping. It looks like living a secret life, which is why we see so much chaotic energy in the church, because these are people, millions of them, who are not living their authentic self. They're living a very sterile, false sense. And so we see all of the so called headline stories, not because people are sinners, but because people have not been permitted to live their true self. And I
yeah.
got tired of doing that. And I ended up closing the church, and here I am.
Welcome. It's so exciting, not necessarily that you had to endure the trauma, because I know what it's like to be a survivor of religious trauma, but it excites me that by the grace of God, you were able to pick up the pieces, gather yourself, and hear spirit in such a way that you now understand how to be a healer
Yes.
in your authenticity.
Yes.
You're able
Yes.
to talk to us in a way that doesn't just come from opinion or supposition or some theory, but you have not only lived it, but now you've researched it and you
Yes.
have written about it, and
Yes.
now you're an expert in the area. If I didn't, I think I got this right, that you're the only black female researcher in this field, in this academic field.
Female or male.
Wow.
So like, because Will, because you'll appreciate this because you're a scholar. We
Mhm.
live in a world where everybody thinks they're a researcher if they watched a YouTube video. Everybody thinks they've done research if they write a blog about it. But I'm talking about academic research, which is
Mhm.
peer-reviewed, scholarly research. So when I was doing my topic for my dissertation, I knew I wanted to address mental health in the Black church, primarily because of my role as a pastor and all the things I experienced. I
Mhm.
didn't go looking for religious trauma. That was not the nature of my research. I wanted to explore the counseling practices of pastors when it came down to how they approach depression with their congregants. So religious trauma was a theme that came out of the actual interviews that I had conducted with my participants, right?
Mhm.
So when that theme emerged, I went to go try to find some scholarship on it, because when you understand when you're doing that type of research, you can't just say it. You can
Mhm.
say it when it's your original stuff, but I wanted to see if there was anything out there to corroborate it from the Black church experience,
Mhm.
and there was nothing. Like there are, it is it's a scant field of research anyway, but it's
Mhm.
growing. But everybody that writes about it academically are white researchers or psychotherapists or
Mhm.
PhDs. There was
Mhm.
absolutely zero Black scholarship on the topic of religious trauma. Now, this
Wow.
had to be supported by my entire dissertation committee. So I don't get to just say that. I don't get
Mhm.
to just say I'm the only African American scholar who addressed it in an academic study. No, my dissertation committee had to sign off on that to say, yep, there's nothing out there. So
Wow.
that's why the resistance is there, because
Mhm.
believe it or not, y'all, this is a prophetic work. This type of work, this religious trauma deconstruction, reconstruction,
Mhm.
specifically for the African American evangelical church, it is a prophetic work. And it is
Yes.
a work that probably that I'll never see the complete fruition of it until I'm, on the other side. But yeah, and so I'm working on actually writing a book, um, and a research article specifically addressing religious trauma from the Black church perspective.
I love it. I love it. We have got to get to a place, and again, this is why we create these platforms. I know you've got a podcast, you've got thousands of TikTok followers, and all of this kind of thing. It is so important that we do the research, that we share our lived experiences, and that we write our own theologies. We write our
Yes,
own stories, because when someone else is writing about you in the third person, there's no way that they can really do the
that's right.
healing work that we need to do
That's right.
within our communities. And so I get so excited when
That's
I
right.
see scholars like yourself who are just saying it. I mean, just say it. Um, and I know, it's unfortunate, but sometimes even in our own community, we are the first ones to reject education. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to
No,
participate in it. We don't want to admit it, but you
no,
just push through and you got to say it anyway.
you
And
got to
so
say it.
I celebrate you for that. I want to talk a little bit about the book that you've got out now. The Secret's out. The role of the Black church. So talk
Yes.
about that for just a little bit, because I told
Sure.
these people we was only going to talk about 20 minutes, but we got
Okay.
two preachers on here, so we might be, be on here all night.
I'm trying. So that's why I said just stop me whenever I'm talking too much. The secret's out. The title is blaring because the title is, or the subtitle is When Faith Fails. And so I sat with that title and I said, God, what am I supposed to do with this? But again, the book is a direct result of my research.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I think because we have so much tone deafness when it comes to religion, and faith. When people hear a title like When Faith Fails, the automatic assumption is, oh, she's disrespecting God or she doesn't believe in God. Faith has failed the Black church, whether we want to corporately admit it or not. Faith has failed the Black church. You're not going to be able to uh, deny that when you look at all of the continual stories that come out of the Black church almost every day now.
Mm-hmm.
And this has happened since I was a child, right? And so when I did the research, and remember, I interviewed clergy for my study,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought they were going to be very reserved, but they were not. They were very forthtelling. And these clergy talked about their own distresses with pastoring. They talked about their own mental health anguishes. Some of them were suicidal.
Mm.
Some of them were battling depression themselves. Some of them were living double lives. They talked about their congregations and how the weight of just trying to help people on a daily basis. And so faith has failed us, y'all. That doesn't mean that God has failed us, but it does mean, and here's where it's going to get a little touchy. It does mean, at least from my perspective, that the God of evangelical Christianity has failed us.
My God. My God. My God. My God. My God.
It's failed us because we have, um, you know, people within your community who are just 60% of my followers are from the LGBTQ community, and
Mm-hmm.
they write me every day. They're my clients. These people are battling with, emotional and mental health issues, everyday challenges, and not just mental health issues, just trying to exist.
Mm-hmm.
And because they want to go to church. I'm not going to get off on that today, but they want to go to church. And many of them don't even want to be at a affirming church. They just want to go to their family church, and they just
Mm-hmm.
want to worship with everybody else. They can't. So faith is failing us. We have people who are forced to. I'm one person who felt pressure to get married because I got pregnant out of wedlock 28 years ago. It was unheard of. You better get married, girl. We have a 70%, almost 70% divorce rate in Christian communities. Almost every pastor I know has been married at least 2 times, if not 3. Hello, lights. Okay. We have, again, mental health at an all-time high. Okay. Depression is the third leading cause of death for African American Christian men. Nobody really talks about it. Okay. African American Christian women are the most undertreated patient of depression in the country. Okay. We just suffer in silence. I know, because I recently got officially diagnosed with depression and anxiety and was given medication for it. Suppressed it my entire Christian life because I didn't want to be seen as weak. Okay. I didn't want to be seen as disobedient or sinful. So there's just a host of problems. We have people who can't sleep at night because they think they're going to die and go to hell in their sleep. Okay. We have interpersonal communication problems. We have a host of problems. And so, yes, faith has failed us. We have Christians who are poverty stricken, who've been praying for just the basic necessities of life, for shelter, for food, for clothing, for employment. They can't get it. They've prayed and prayed and prayed. They've fasted. They've given their tithe. They've given their offering. They've laid out before the Lord, and they're still sick. They're still suffering. Yes, faith has failed us. And I think this is an opportunity not for us to feel a level of offense, but this is the Black church's opportunity to say, we're the
Yeah.
most powerful institution that exists in our community. And I want to know from the Black church, what are you going to do with the amount of power that God has given you? Because we don't have any other institutions as Black people. And if the church is not going to help us,
Where are we
we're
gonna?
effed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the premise of the book. So the book offers solutions.
Mm-hmm.
It offers alternatives.
Y'all see why we needed to know Dr. Vanessa R. Brooks? She came rolling in here heavy tonight. And of course, this conversation could have lasted for a
Forever.
whole hour or two, because there's so much that we need to unpack. But I'm telling you, on this season of Shake the Table, we're doing the work, because the time has come. It is right now that we've got to do the work, our internal work, our spiritual work, to get ourselves healthy and strong so that we can be the people that God has called us to be. We've been living too low, y'all. We've been living beneath our privilege, and it's time for us to be able to band together, support each other, strengthen each other, and get to that place that God would have us to be. And people like Dr. Vanessa R. Brooks is going to help us to get there. So if you all would do this for me, do this for yourself. Y'all go find her on social media. Dr. Brooks, tell us how they can connect with you.
It's Dr. Vanessa R. Brooks across most social platforms, Facebook, Instagram. I'm not on there a whole lot, I'll be honest. My YouTube channel, there's two of them. You'll find those under both the names Dr. Vanessa R. Brooks. And I really hang out a lot on TikTok. So over there, it's also Dr. Vanessa R. Brooks.
Go follow her,
We
y'all.
have a web. I'm sorry.
No, no, I'm just telling them they
Yeah,
need to go follow you.
go follow me, y'all. You can visit my website as well, wellnesscare360.com. Just hang out with me. Reach out to me. Let's hang out.
Wow. Dr. Vanessa, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Table shakers, let's show her some love. Let's clap it up for Dr. Vanessa Brooks. She's going to be coming back and she's going to be spending a whole hour with us in the podcast. Dr. Vanessa, we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Will, for having me. Talk to you later.
Okay, take care. Y'all, is she not phenomenal? That's my sister. I love what she does. And again, we're finding each other. Table shakers, we're finding each other and we're affirming each other and we're doing what we need to do to really bring this kingdom here to the earth. And so I need you all, again, to get connected, stay connected. The official launch of the podcast is going to be this Thursday. 7:30 p.m. I've got a very, very special guest who is going to be on with us. I know that you guys are going to love that conversation. But in the meantime, what I need you to do is to go over to YouTube and subscribe. Okay. I need you also to go to either Spotify or Apple Podcasts and go ahead and create a profile or account or whatever, because that's where these podcasts are going to live. They're going to be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and I want to make sure that you get them. The last thing that I need you guys to do so that you can get a text message whenever new episodes are being posted or new videos or we're going live, text the word shake, SHAKE, to the number 866-646-3888. That way you can be notified whenever we're getting ready to shake tables, okay? Again, I love you guys. I appreciate your support. Make sure to tell a friend. We're going to be right back here tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. I have another guest that I cannot wait to introduce to you guys. I'm going to post the flyer tonight, but again, make sure that you're in place tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. right here on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. Until that time, y'all take care of yourself.